back. We are having our second conversation for the morning, and we are joined by Brenda Stain, a registering officer at the Elections and Boundaries, and Kimara Card, also a registering officer over at the Elections and Boundaries office. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
All right, so the conversation this morning is all about the transfer period for the Elections and Boundaries. So I suppose we can start with what exactly that is all about.
Okay, the transfer period, first of all, we are governed by the Representation of the People's Act, Chapter 9. You can go on the Google and you can find that act that we use. In section 59.1, it states that elector, if you have moved from one electoral division to another electoral division and you so choose to change to your new address, then you will make an application on Form 17. You visit the Elections and Boundaries office, and if once you have been living there for 2 months, then you can go and apply. Just know that it's only in the month of July and August only. Once that takes place, then there is a process whereby the registering officer will do their investigations, and it will not be that you will be automatically be transferred. It has a process, and we can go into the process, but that's basically the transfer period.
Okay, so 2 months.
Only.
All right. So how does that work for persons that are a part of the redistricting process at this time? Is it the same thing?
Well, right now we are only focusing on the transfer period. So as far as we are concerned, we wanted people to know that next year will be the upcoming municipal election, March. Yeah. And this will be the perfect time if they are living at a new address in a new division for them to do the transfer.
All right.
How does your location, where you're residing, impact where you vote and the turnout of the electoral process at that level? I'm asking because, for instance, you have persons who live in Ladyville, but they're registered in Port Loyola, and you know, when election time comes around, it's a hassle to move around people from where they are living, perhaps to where they vote.
Because it's not mandatory that you transfer.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know it automatically that you've moved then, unless you come into our office. So when you come into the office, then we know that you moved, then we can transfer you to your new address. If you haven't told us, then you're legally only entitled to vote where you originally registered.
Yes.
So impacting, you said impacting elections?
Yeah. Because I ask in the context of a constituency, for instance, having so many registered voters, but come election day, you find out that persons are coming in from other parts of the country to vote in a particular constituency because they, for whatever reason, may have moved to Corozal, for instance, and never attempted to or never bothered registering or transferring formally to perhaps a constituency in Corozal or what have you.
And that is specifically why we're here, because people know, but maybe they're not aware that it's only July and August that you can come in and transfer to your new location. So we are here to ensure that people recognize that it's important for you to transfer. It's important for you to have your accurate address to where you live. It's even convenient, because if you live in Corozal, why would you want to travel to Belize when you can just transfer your location to where you are, and then you can vote in Corozal.
Also, you have to note that it's the elector, it is his or her choice if they want to do a transfer. And it could be that the person has the reason why they were registered. Maybe they were registered in a certain division at that time. So it only costs them on election day. On election day, like you rightly said, it costs them, because then if they're registered in Belmopan and they've been living in Corozal, it onus will be on them to go. Because remember, when we're doing election, the only person that work for election days vote by proxy. Yeah. They're not allowed to vote by proxy, so they franchise themselves. And then sometimes we have some employer that doesn't want to give them the time off to go and vote. So like what Ms. Card said, it would be best for them to come into the new division and apply for a transfer.
Wouldn't you have, okay, maybe this is a gray area for me here. You're employed, your boss refuses you from going to vote. they can't do that,
They
right? I
can't do
mean,
that.
you should,
By law,
by law,
they're
you're
supposed-
allowed to.
They're allowed to go and vote, yes, sir.
And it shouldn't matter, in theory, how long the lines are, right? Once you're there to vote, you stand in line and you wait your turn.
However
and
long
then
it takes.
It shouldn't. It
Yeah.
shouldn't.
You know, I'm thinking about the transfer process and the conversation that's always attached to that, and that is corruption and, you know, persons that are moving to different divisions to vote for a particular person, right? When you're applying,
That's more along the lines of gerrymandering.
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
when you're
Try to break this
applying for a transfer, do you have to prove your address that you are staying at?
We do investigation. We investigate every address, whether it's transfer or a regular application to register to vote. We investigate every application, which means if you come in and you say you live at 4429 Peter Seco Street, we take that down as the address that you give us, and then we physically go to that address. We consult with neighbors if you're not home, or if there's someone home, maybe you're renting and there's a chief occupant there, or there's the landlord, as we call them, that can verify that you do live at that address. So yes, if you want to, you can bring maybe a receipt, a bill or something to state that you do reside at that address, but ultimately the onus is on us to investigate your address that you give.
I would presume that that's a very tough, I mean, to be able, I presume that you're working on specific human resources, right?
Yeah.
Manpower. So,
And time consuming too.
so to be out there in the
Manpower.
field, you know, to go and verify each person's
Each
location
address.
and address it's got to be a tough job.
It is. Especially this year will be a very tough year for elections among the staff.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially for the offices that has cities and towns, they'll be impacted a lot because, for example, Belize City, all of Belize City constituency will be going to municipal elections.
Yeah.
Where I work at Belize Rural, North and Central. If you notice, last year we had village council elections. What may take place for me would be people who still might be doing transfer, but it won't be as much as my officer that have 4 divisions. She has 4 divisions. She is the person responsible for the North Side office, so she might have far more work than me, you know.
Yeah.
So, and the
Yeah.
human resources is very, very
Limited.
little.
I still go back to my question because I don't remember what exactly you said when it comes to redistricting, where your division automatically changes. Do you have to go and transfer in that?
At this point, redistricting is not at our office levels as yet. It's
Okay.
No,
still,
it hasn't
it's-
reached there as
it
yet.
hasn't reached there as
But I
yet. So
can
we-
tell you what took place in 2005 because
Uh-huh.
I was there. When we did redistricting, it's the registering officer. After everything has been through the National Assembly and so forth, then the registering officer have to get your files, your record
Okay.
card, and then send it over to the new office. Then you know there's a new register that is produced. Then you know that, okay, this is now a new division. For example, let me give you, it is polling area 13. Polling area 13 used to be Queen Square one spell, and now it's now Mesopotamia. And all those people, because, you know, people don't focus on the news. When it was time for them to vote, they're like, why are we in this division? We have always been voting for Queen Square and so forth. So I think when we do get into the session for redistricting, we will be coming back on your show, and we'll definitely be explaining more
That'll
to
be
the
a lot
people.
more work for you guys as
Yes,
well.
it will. It will. It will.
Well, at this point, what we're looking at is the possibility that there will be 2 more constituencies added to the 31. So we're looking at 33.
I do
We're
not
looking
know
at
about that.
removing at least 1 or so from
I do not
Belize
know
district.
about that. I'm sorry, I do not know about that. But
That's
anyways,
what is being fielded. So
Yeah, I
you
don't
have
know
work.
about that.
That's not or
All right, yeah, you were going to say?
No, I'm just listening to what he's saying. but,
Well, let's go back to the application for the transfer process. We know that it's 2 months, so without it, you have to vote at the address that was
that you've previously registered, right?
registered under. Where do we get the application, or how do we
Come into the office.
Okay.
It's not a physical application. It's not an application for you to fill. It's an application for us to fill.
Okay.
So you come into the office with an ID. It doesn't have to be the election and boundaries or the voter's ID that we issue. It can be a passport, a social security, a driver's license, just to verify that it's you. And then we take your information down and we fill it out, take a picture, you sign, and we investigate. The process takes sometimes, it depends on when you come in, but more or less a month.
Okay. All right, and after that, it's automatic. You're set.
If we are satisfied that the location that you give us is accurate, the information that you give us is accurate, then yes. If not, then there's a process where we disallow the application and you remain where you are. You get a letter in the mail stating the reason we've disallowed.
Okay.
Also,
sorry, go ahead.
you have to remember that every 25th of the month, there's a period for objections. That's for people that is registered in the division to do an objection for the person on the list. So if that process is after the 25th and nobody name was objected in that division, then the person would have been a new voter in that division.
What are the factors that determine when and if someone is disallowed via this process?
Like, for instance, if you give us an address and we go to the address and it's an empty lot, or you give us an address and we go to the address and nobody can verify you there, or we visit 3 times to locate you and you have not responded to calls, you have not answered your door, there is no indication that you live there, then we have to disallow after the 3rd visit.
I want to talk about new voters as well. I'll use this opportunity to
Sure.
to touch on persons that will be voting for the first time. What is that process like to make sure that you have your voter's ID or to be a part of this process?
Okay, like you rightfully said, you need to be 18 years old, be a Belizean either by birth, nationality, or also Commonwealth. If you notice, we have Commonwealth countries too.
Yeah.
They have to be living here for at least 1 year. You visit the registration office with your original document. Of course, that will be your birth paper, nationality, adoption certificate. You can use a deed book. You know, some people had changed their name, their passport, and you visit the office. We take a new picture with you. We have the vetting process of going and doing an investigation, a physical investigation of you also to ensure that you're indeed living there. 15th of the month, we publish your name on a supplementary list. After the 25th, if no one objects to the list, it also goes to the court at the end of the month. And then we have the revising officer, who is the chief magistrate, that will sign off that these are the qualified electors. And we do a revise list, and you automatically become a voter. We give you a time span when you come and pick up back your ID card. So you can come back to the office and pick up your ID card. And I will use this opportunity to also state that we want our electors who have registered from since 2018 to visit the office to pick up their ID cards, because we still have a lot of ID cards
So
there.
I'll tell you, I might be on that list.
Okay, so we are telling you that you can come and pick up your ID card.
I might be on that list.
Come get your card. To add to what Ms. Brendalyn says, the process is not a long process.
Yeah.
If you're a you want to be a new elector, a new
New voter, yeah.
You're just applying, then it's just 15 to 20 minutes per person. So if there's nobody there, you're in and out in just minutes. It's not a long process. It's free. So come in. If you're 18, you've lived at the address for 2 months or more, come in and apply. Get your voter's ID.
I would like just to state and add on to what Ms. Card is saying is that don't wait to hear a deadline. For example, when you know they will say there's a deadline, then people remember, oh my, I didn't visit election at boundaries. And I use this example, and I was telling people that when I was in Dangrega working, it was just before the general election. It was in September. And I can recall this lady was in the line from 3 o'clock. We didn't tend to her until 11:15 p.m. in the night.
Wow.
So our department is not like other departments. Like if we work between our lunch hour, we just want the people to know we are open between our lunch hour. And even if there is like 5 o'clock and there is 5-10 people at our office, we still have to attend those people. And worse, when it's a cutoff period, we still have to attend. If it's 10 people, if it's 20 people, if it's 30 people, we have to ensure that those people are in, because we don't want to defranchise anyone from their rights to vote.
It's just that in Belize, we always wait for the last minute.
Right.
And
So
I
then you
really
have a
don't know why.
groundswell.
I really don't know why people would do that to themselves. I mean, imagine you in a line from 3 till after 11 just for you to get enfranchise your
Because you just remember that the deadline is tomorrow and you need
And
to
the
vote.
thing is,
so
we
then-
open every day. Our offices are open every day,
Every day.
countrywide. Countrywide, we are open, so it's not to say that our office is closed a day or two. And sometimes we even go to the section of open on a Saturday. And that's the worst part, is that you'll be calling the offices and asking how much application you have. Sometimes it's only 2 persons actually take out the opportunity to come and register on a Saturday. And then when it's this crowd of people, they will be saying, how comes you guys didn't open? We were open. it was on the news, it was in
On the
whatever way
talk
we could have
shows,
sent it
and
to
they
you,
did not show
and
up.
you still didn't come. So why are you telling us this now? You know, we're going to advise people that please come out and get registered. Please come out and get transferred.
Yeah.
Please pick up your
ID
IDs.
card.
Okay.
I would have- I would have thought that, you know, after a certain period has elapsed and persons don't come in to pick up their ID cards and that.
No.
No, no, no,
Okay.
because you have to remember by law, everyone has to pick up their ID card personally.
Okay.
You have to personally pick up your ID card. You cannot send an authority. Our department, and it's governed in our representative and people act that you have to pick up your ID card personally. So that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of ID cards on hand. And even when we go out and do outreach
We do
to do
drives.
delivery, people still don't respond.
I was at home. I'm kidding. So let's talk about the different locations
Okay,
that you
sure.
can, go to do the transfer.
If you're in the city, there is the Ladyville office that does Belize Rural North and Central. The whole-
Located at the New Airport Plaza. Our phone number is 225-4684.
I'm for the north side. We're at 12 Douglas Jones Street. Recently moved. People would remember that we were at Lumberyard Crescent, that's behind the Atlantic Bank. We're no longer there.
Yeah.
We're on 12 Douglas Jones Street where Neris used to be.
Okay.
I'm responsible for Freetown, Fort George, Caribbean Shores, and Pickstock area. Then there's the Symmetry office that's upstairs, First Choice Pharmacy. They're responsible for Lake Eye, Messop, and Colette.
And you have to go to the location.
Where you reside, right?
And then we
Right.
have the
Euphrates
Euphrates
office.
office.
Yeah.
That's responsible for Queen's Square, Alberts, and Port. Opposite Queen's Anglican School, the Anglican School.
St.
And then we
John's.
have, being that we're talking about that now, we have 4 offices that have a new location. We have the Cayo Central office. It was located at 123 George Price Avenue. It has moved to 7 Salazar Street, the lane in front of Love Tongue. I don't know where Love Tongue is, but it's the lane in front of Love Tongue. And then we have the Cayo North and the Cayo North East office. They were located at 28 West Street. Their new location is 3226 Bullet Tree Road in front of 28 Supermarket. We also have, she already stated her office, so she was one of the offices that was affected. And we have our main office, the central office that was behind the complex at Charles Bartlett High. They are now located at the Old Lands Building, ground floor. And the Belmopan and Cayo South office that was behind Angelo's Press, they have moved to the same building where our main office is, but the entrance would be the police station.
From the
So,
police station.
From the police station, that would be the entrance.
As it relates to all the address changes for the elections and boundaries, are they accessible online where persons
Yes.
can
It's on
find
our
out?
it's on our Facebook page and it's on our website.
Okay. And you guys have phone numbers that we can
Yes.
contact as well to get
Also
information?
on there, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, on our Facebook.
Everything else remains intact in the other districts.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. Yes, everything. We have an office in Dangriga. We have a sub office in Independence that serves Toledo district also, because we have some villages that is closer there. We have an office in Punta Gorda. We have an office in San Pedro. We have one in Corozal, 2 in Orange Walk. We have one in Santa Elena, one in Benque, one in San Ignacio, and we have 4 in Belize district alone. And I didn't think I missed any, did
No,
I?
we didn't.
Okay, that's the amount of offices we have, and we
The
open
one
every
in
day to the
San
public.
Pedro serves Kikaka as well.
Yes, as
Okay.
well.
All right. Well, do you guys have any last information that you'd like to share as it relates to transfers or anything happening at the elections and boundaries that the public need to know?
We'd just like to remind them that July and August are the months for transfer every year, and this year is no different. From the 1st of July to the 31st of August, please come in and transfer. We also do ongoing registration, so every day of the year we do not Saturdays and Sundays, but working
Business
Unless you
days,
say.
yeah.
unless we say business days, we're there. Come in and register, pick up your IDs.
Well, I would just like to inform the general public about false statement. No, you know,
Okay.
it's an offense to come into the office and give us a false statement. You can be fined. You can be fined $1,000, and you can spend even up to 2 years if
In
you're
prison.
if you're fined with those false statements. And also for the chief occupant to furnish information when we go on the premises. Also, and for those people who decide that they want to do a false objection, there is also a penalty of $500, or you could spend up to a year in jail also. So we just want them to know that
Remind
also.
them, yeah.
All right. And just again, when it comes to the information to transfer. Just to remind the public that they have to go to the elections and boundaries, the specific locations that their address resides at to do that.
Right.
The time frame is 2 months, and without it, you will be voting at your
Old
old
address, yes.
address as
Yes,
well.
ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, and the process only takes about a month, you said?
No, what happened is that
To be officially on the list.
from the 1st of July to the 10th of July is our first cutoff. So then you have the 15th supplementary. Then you have from the 11th of August to the 10th of August, and be the second supplementary will be published on the 15th of August. Then you have the 16th to the 31st. Those will come on the September supplementary. So your last day is the 31st of August. Okay, so then you will be placed on the September supplement. But 1st of September, you cannot walk into our office and apply for an application to do a transfer because the period has already ended.
She was asking
Finito.
about the process.
Yes.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the information. Voters, get your IDs, myself included, and transfer if you have changed your address. It's absolutely important. We don't want anyone to go to elections and boundaries and they rail up about why they can't vote at the constituency that they thought they lived in. Of course, they have mentioned that the redistricting exercise that's taking place does not affect this process at this particular time. It's
Right.
only if you have moved from your current, from your previous address to a different location. That's the only case where the transfer process is applied.
Right.
Nothing else, we didn't miss anything, right?
Did we miss anything, Ms. Card?
We could emphasize the 2 months that you have to be at the new location. I don't know if we emphasize
Yes.
that enough.
Uh,
You have to be at the new location 2 months minimum
All right.
to be transferred.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. We appreciate the information, and we hope that our viewers take heed to the information because it impacts us
Yeah.
all.
It does.
Yes. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be joined by the Central American Junior Championship members. Don't go away.